Hello everyone, Kezavern here today, and we are doing an introduction to the market. And what I mean by market is the player market, also called the explorer market. Anyways, in the previous videos I've gotten up over 100 sapphires from mini games and just going around doing stuff. So now we're going to go look at what we can spend that on in the sapphire shop here. Now, based on the last couple videos I posted, some people might think a paint seed tree would be the best first item to get, but I'm going to hold off on that for now because it actually won't return quite as many sapphires as getting something else like a first shop. So the My Shop is available in the sapphire store here, and it is likely going to be one of the best investments of your sapphires that you can make. Now, I'm not saying it has to be your first purchase, but it's what I would do. Because once you have that in My Shop, you can set it up at your den and you can start selling all of the items you've been building up for sapphires to other players. The setup process is fairly simple. Just place it and then you can access it, change its name, and start putting items in there. Now, as a new player, the hardest thing is actually just understanding what in the world you have and what the value of any of it is. Because this game has an overwhelming number of items in it, like, who knows, 30, 40,000 items, maybe more. So, like, how much is anything worth? You just don't know. You can see I'm putting a lot of stuff here for 5 sapphires. Likely, those won't even sell. Like, other players may come by and buy them, but likely not. So, to determine the value of anything you have to go do market research. And that just means going to the Explorer Market in Coral Canyon and looking up the actual cost of some of these things you have so you actually know what you can price them at. For example, I got these quill collars. I'm not sure what I got them from exactly, maybe fighting phantoms, but as you can see, they're only worth like 5, maybe 10 sapphires each, which isn't bad. If I put them in my market for 10 sapphires, they might sell, they might not. You just have to wait and see. So you get your shop full with 25 items, hopefully 20 in the Explorer Market, and then an extra 5 in there if you can shove them in. And then what I usually do, or what I've done in the past, is I go out and I advertise my shop. And early on like this, because most of the stuff you have is low value, to get people to actually go to my den and try to look at stuff, I advertise that it's all selling, below 10 sapphires, 5 to 9. And that gets some people's attention. 9 out of 10 people are either not going to see your message or they're going to see it and ignore it, and that's fine. You don't need a whole lot of business, but waiting for people to see it on the Explorer Market and go there, you could be, waiting days worth of time to try and sell enough items. So it's not a bad thing to go around and try to advertise your shop. And if you can, keep a low price like this, maybe someone will just come through and buy out half your shop. You never know. In this case, I did run around for quite a while and didn't really make a whole lot of sales, but I made something. And I did have items that were worth more than 9 sapphires. I had like some glow-in-the-dark shoes that are closer to like 30 sapphires in value, but I didn't put those in there at this time because I'll wait till I have other higher value items and then add them later. So right now it's just kind of like try to sell a bunch of little stuff. Oh, also as an important tip, Animal Jam as a safeguard against automated bots, they have a limited number of times you can say the same message. So after you've advertised with one message a certain number of times, you have to change your message slightly, and then you can just keep going with that. I don't know how long you would want to go around doing this. I ran around like this for about 20 minutes maybe. And the whole time I was doing that, I was also like digging up treasure and, looking for discoverables and all that stuff. So you can kind of, multitask here and there while you're doing it. I typically would advertise 2, maybe 3 times in the same area and then move on to the next area. Also, just a tip for anyone who is either trying to advertise or trying to, go shop at someone else's place. If you see someone say they're, selling something and you're interested, but they leave before you can click on them, you can actually look up in the chat and everyone's name who's appeared recently in your chat, you can click on them through that chat window, and then you can go to their den that way. So they don't actually need to be in the zone anymore. Once they've said something and it appears on your chat log here, you can still reach that player whether or not they're there. Now, I actually got very lucky because I'm doing this starting up thing in April, and there is a Easter event happening, kind of going towards the end of it now. But just from digging treasure chests, I got enough of the egg points to buy one of these egg tokens. And the reason that's so lucky is because as a new player, you can sell that for a ridiculous number of sapphires, like 500 or something. I'll see in a second. But yeah, it's a big purchase, and I got all of those points just from digging up treasure chests. So let's take a look at how much it's worth. And to do that, of course, I am heading right back to Coral Canyons here, looking up the egg tokens in the market to see what other people have placed them at, because the only way to determine the current value is to see what other players are selling. So don't just blindly, put a price on it. You might get it as a new player and be like, oh my gosh, this will sell for 50 sapphires. You would be sadly mistaken. It would be worth 10 times that amount, as you can see here. Moving right along. Now this is an introduction to the market video, and I will have more videos on the market stuff later. So you can either do what I'm showing here or not. It is buying pets. This is the primary way I've made sapphires in the past, and it's a pretty safe bet because pets are always in demand. So what I've done here is found a polar bear that is below market value, and essentially what I'm doing is I'm going to buy a low priced one, I'm going to level it up slightly, and then resell it at a higher price. And you might just be like, well, what about my first pets, and what if I just really want a different pet, or what if I want to use sapphires to buy clothing? That's all fine. You can do all those other things too. But right now, at the early stages of the game, getting just a few extra sapphires out of some pets can be a big help, and it can be much faster than many other methods. If you happen upon the right, low price pet, you level it up a little bit, and then sometimes you can resell it for twice the value and end up making 100 sapphires just like that. So I would say it is one of the quickest ways to make sapphires early on, especially since leveled up pets sell for way more than the base level pets. And now would probably be a good time for me to explain what pet levels are, since I haven't gone over that. Anyways, if you don't know, pets start at base level 0, including the ones you start with. And if you go to a pet station, which you can find at a lot of players' dens, I just happen to know someone here who, has a pet station at their place. Go to their pet station and you can use it. Sometimes you have to be their friend to go to their den, sometimes not. In this case, anyone can go to my den at any time and use my pet station. I don't care. Just go there and you can, feed, clean, do all that to your pet, and it will level it up, and later on give it energy, which is a whole different topic. But for now, you're just interested in leveling up the pets you have, because once they are a higher level, they have higher value on the market. And so then you're essentially spending time leveling them to get more sapphires out of them later. Speaking of sapphires, shortly after that, my egg token did sell for 520, giving me a total of 494 sapphires after the shop fees, which is a huge amount for any new player. And it would be at this point that I would recommend getting that paint seed tree. That is going to be very useful in the long run. But don't get it for 100 sapphires. I know it's available at the sapphire shop, but other players also sell them for a reduced rate. So you can see if you just go and search one here on the Explorer market, you can usually, not always, but usually find something, 90. I got lucky and found one for 80 here. Sometimes they're even lower than that. Who knows? So get a paint seed tree once you're, comfortable with the number of sapphires you have, so you can fight phantoms in all kinds of ways with them. But that is for later. This is a market video, and so I'm back to my shop Explorer market here in Coral Canyon. What I'm doing right here is I consider this almost like a little mini game in itself. I'm exploring the market, the pet market specifically, looking for low prices, things that are pets that are just way below the regular value. And this little mini game of mine is kind of, it takes time to learn, because you have to learn the general prices of most pets, and then you have to understand, if the market right now for them is high, if it's low, and all that. And this might not be a little mini game for you. You may not enjoy going through the market and just looking at pets over and over and over again. But I would say I spend maybe 20-25% of all my time in Animal Jam just sitting here at the Explorer Market. And yes, you may think I'm crazy for that, but I do happen to make some sapphires doing it. So you can also benefit by using this same exact little tactic, or what I call a mini game, for yourself. Now, the thing that led me to this player's shops was a lower priced pony pet, but I did buy that ocelot because I happen to know it is below market value, even though I wasn't looking up those specific pets. So it's kind of like the more you play the little pet trading mini game, the better you get at it, because you understand the general prices of these pets and you can just buy and sell them as you please. So after I also get the pony, then I continue searching and decide that 2 more purchases of fireflies are a good idea. I also keep searching around and find a butterfly and axolotl to finish off the sapphires I have. And again, you don't have to do this with the first big bunch of sapphires you get. This is just my method for using sapphires to get more sapphires. And if you don't want to do any of this, you don't have to. But anyways, we're going to take a look now at how those numbers work. So these are all the numbers, well, pets, and the number of sapphires I bought them for. And so while I level up some pets, we're going to take a look at the numbers I think I can sell these pets for. Notice all these numbers are quite a bit higher than what I purchased them for. And now these are the numbers I'm going to list them for, but let's actually look at the numbers I will get after shop fees. So that all gets cut down quite a bit. Now, stay in school, kiddos, because all those math skills are about to pay off. I'm going to find the difference between all of these numbers, and then total them up to find the final amount of sapphires I'll gain by trading just these pets here. And that amount is actually going to be 187 sapphires, just by buying and selling pets and leveling them up. It did take about 2 days for all of them to sell. Many of them sold once they got to level 2, some of them I had to level up to level 3, and I just level them up while they're in the shop. The process does take a while. Sometimes it takes longer than 2 days. Sometimes the pets expire and you have to re-put them in the shop. But when I got these sapphires quickly, I turned around and bought other stuff like the Phantom and sold that too. So it just kind of builds the sapphires over time. The whole time I was doing all of this, starting from the mini games, was about 9 days, and it ended up getting me a total of 917 sapphires. Now I went to the sapphire store to demo buying a membership, but it seems that my account's not quite old enough to get a membership, or maybe something else is going on, I'm not sure. But it does usually take 600 sapphires to get a membership. Couldn't do it on this account, but it's fine. My main account that I've been playing for a few months now, I have plenty of sapphires on that one to get a membership, so I will demo it on there. Now, the reason I'm showing all this on the market introduction video here is because what you want to do is you want to cut out your shop fees as early as you can. Especially once you start selling anything that's, over 100 sapphires, like certain pets might be, or maybe you found some other cool item that's worth quite a bit of sapphires. The shop fees are really going to start taking big cuts out of what you can gain in terms of sapphires. So the sooner you can get that membership, the better. And while I have just shown how to get the membership without buying it with, real life money, I will say for a fact, the fastest way to get sapphires is to buy them directly from Animal Jam. It is so much easier than what I just showed. It doesn't take several days worth of your time, and it supports the game. So it's not a bad idea to get the membership at least once at the beginning. Support the game, do all that. Get your sapphires for buying the membership, and then get access to all the extra features in the game. Don't worry about shop fees. It is really a good deal. So I will also advertise that it's not a bad idea to buy from them, or you could go the much longer route that I have just shown and try to get the membership without it. So that is your choice. That is all for my market introduction. I'll have more videos later that go over some more advanced things on navigating the My Shop Explorer and how to understand, buying low and selling high kind of tactics in a more advanced way. But for now, thank you for watching. It is time again for Alpha Item Giveaway. With each video, I will be giving away one free Alpha Item to one of the first 10 people who post a comment on my YouTube channel about how Animal Jam rocks. Now, in order to win, you must also post your username, of course, and that is a bit risky, so go ahead and make sure you have two-step verification on before you share your username out in the public. And as always with Animal Jam, don't share any personal details. Don't know what alpha items are? That's okay. You can go to Coral Canyons, to the player market access point, and look them up. Most of them are quite expensive, between 1,000 to 5,000 sapphires each, so I think it's definitely worth putting that comment in there to see if you can win one. If you have any additional comments or questions, feel free to leave them. Until next time, keep on jamming.